Well, what astonishes me when I read the newspaper or watch the news is how many problems are the direct result of what people believe about God. I mean, there are days when I open the New York Times where fully half of the stories are, in a way that's unacknowledged by the paper, relate to people's religious convictions. I mean, I mentioned the Virginia Tech shooting. I mean, this was the role that religion played in providing a context for this shooting was never really discussed in the media. But I mean, we just hear that the mother happened to be, a devout Christian and schlepped her child from church to church in search of exorcism. I just see continually our attention bound up in these competing ideas about God. At best, this is often just a waste of time, but at worst, it is manufacturing violence and unnecessary conflict and misuses of our resources. And what's more, it is very rare that we acknowledge. I mean, now we're beginning to acknowledge the role that Islam is playing in Muslim terrorism, but even that has been very slow to come. I mean, it has been obvious for many, many years, long before September 11th, that a certain style of Muslim infatuation was leading to this kind of jihadi behavior. Because of the respect we accord religious faith, we're very slow to acknowledge its causal role in conflict. Well, I think the biggest challenge as a matter of discourse and debate, and certainly the most frustrating challenge, is what comes from otherwise secular and even non-believing people who are just reluctant to admit how much mad work is being done because of religion in this world. I mean, they either can't believe that people really believe this stuff. So when a suicide bomber blows himself up in a crowd of children, this secular type of person will imagine that wasn't religion. I mean, had nothing to do with a belief in paradise and 72 virgins. Who could believe that? I mean, this is some kind of psychological aberration, or it's caused by economic desperation or our policies in the region. I mean, it's not a matter of metaphysical beliefs. I think the jury is in on this. I mean, we know that people really do believe these things. They are telling us ad nauseum they believe these things. And I don't think there's any more powerful rhetorical device for emphasis than blowing yourself up or flying a plane into a building. I mean, these people are really willing to die for what they believe. And we know it's not a matter of, I mean, to speak specifically about the Muslim world for a moment, we know it's not a matter of economics and education, because, in this recent plot in the UK, these are all doctors who are aspiring suicide bombers. I mean, how much more education did these doctors need? One was a neurosurgeon. You find me a neurosurgeon suicide bomber, and you tell me the problem is education and economics. It clearly isn't. And the deeper problem, and I think a far more sinister problem, is that it is possible to be well educated, so well educated that you can be a neurosurgeon and still believe that you can get 72 virgins in paradise. And this is made possible by the fact that we have allowed a certain mode of thought, religion, to thrive in a cocoon of this sphere of protection from criticism. It is just taboo to criticize people's religious beliefs.